Thanks for checking out the BoshNRoll channel. If you want to see me play your deck, hang out with me in the amazing BoshNRoll community in Discord, access to my lists and sideboard guides before tournaments, book an individual coaching session, or just generally want to support what's going on here, check out the Patreon and YouTube membership options. For the finest Magic the Gathering apparel on the market, use code BoshNRoll for 10% off your order at coalesceapparel.shop. Moxfield.com is the easiest way to build a Magic deck online. If you want to play what I'm playing, use my affiliate link to support the channel while you shop for cards at tcgplayer.com and play any deck anytime on Magic Online with a cardhoarder.com loan account. Thanks for being here. Let's go play some Magic.
Welcome back to the BoshNRoll channel. Today, Chalice of the Void week continues. It's not a real thing that I'm doing, but this is the third Chalice of the Void deck in a row. I released Legacy Tron yesterday and Polymorph Prison the day before. Just the way it all shook out, but I'm here for it. This deck, less brewy or crazy than those other two. This is straight up 8-cast from Patreon subscriber 93. I love featuring 8-cast on the channel. It's a deck that has just kind of existed since Modern Horizons 2. It has 0 reserve list cards in the 75. It's a great entry point into Legacy. It's a genuine tier 1 deck that you don't need any dual lands or any super fancy cards to get. I mean, Force of Will still fancy, Chalice of the Void, Urza Saga. There's some cards that cost money in here, don't get me wrong. I think Mox Opal is also like 40-50 bucks. It's not cheap, but compared to other Legacy decks, one Underground Sea is like $900, so this deck is a steal if you want to play real Legacy. All that said, the way this deck works is you have Affinity in Emery, Thoughtcast, and Thought Monitor. You have kind of pseudo-affinity in Improvise with Kappa Cannoneer. All of those things encourage you to play out many artifacts, and then Psymaster Thopterist rewards you for playing out many artifacts by cranking out a bunch of Thopters. Urza Saga, the constructs get bigger the more artifacts you have. All of this backed up by the disruption of Chalice of the Void and Force of Will, and that's a deck. This is a squeaky clean, card advantage, pseudo combo, pseudo control, pseudo aggro murder machine. This deck is really great. This particular build of the deck has some bold choices in it that I'm interested to try out. This is the list that went 8-2 in the North American Legacy Champs. One match short of top 8ing that tournament. And some cool cards in here. One is a main deck Haywire Might. This is a new card from Brothers War. When it dies, you gain 2 life. And for a green, you could sacrifice it, exile target non-creature artifact or non-creature enchantment. Green has to come off of Mox Opal or Lotus Petal, which this deck frequently has a Mox Opal around. That's not a big ask, so cool card. We'll see what specific targets it has to be worth a main deck slot. I'm just trying to think of matchups other than the Mirror, where you really want access to something like this. And I'm coming up a little short, not gonna lie. I guess Sylvan Library is in some fair decks. I don't know. It's a cool card. It pops out of Urza Saga because it costs 1. We're going to try it. And the other really cool card in this list is Virtue's Ruin. 2 and a black sorcery, destroy all white creatures. This is a card whose stonks have gone way up since the initiative entered the format. This used to be played against Death and Taxes back in the olden times, like the 2009 to 2012 era. Maverick was a bigger deck back then too. Stoneforge Mystic was everywhere. Virtue's Ruin. I'm sure I have a few kicking around in my Legacy Playables binder that I haven't looked at in 10 years, but it's back. And this version of 8-cast is once again using the Mox Opal and the Lotus Petal to cast this thing. But it's, once again, not a big ask to have a Mox Opal around with Virtue's Ruin. Other than that, pretty standard 8-cast deck. We're going to put artifacts into play, then we're going to draw cards and play more artifacts until the opponents are dead. Let's go do it. This is 8-cast for 93. I'm on the play in round 1 with a hand that doesn't have any blue mana and doesn't accelerate this Chalice and doesn't make any constructs out of the Urza Sagas. We're going to mulligan. Okay, this is a turn 1 Chalice with force backup. That's all that it is. How far am I from Thought Monitor? I'll have Otawara, 1 Lotus Petal, Chalice of the Void. And I have to bottom one of these things. Right, this one is speculative, but I'm doing it. I'd feel better if I wasn't on a mulligan, if I got to keep the the Force and the Thought Monitor, because now if I Force, I lose Thought Monitor. But let's try it. Adawara, Lotus Petal, and Chalice of the Void. Get in there. Opponent's on a mull of 5. Let's hope they're a combo deck that loses to Chalice at plus Force of Will. Ancient Tomb. Oh no. The Chalice Mirror. They don't care at all. Why would you do that? Why would you Chalice back? We both have one now. Should have played Chalice on 0. Weird. Oh, it's just the straight up mirror. Okay, then you don't Chalice on 0, and you probably need that artifact in play. Take it all back. You're probably right. All right, send it. By Force of Will, better hold the fort here. They're clearly playing to some sort of affinity card by deploying the Chalice and not cracking the baubles. Yeah, they're going to just rip away with this one. They're doing Thoughtcast stuff, they're hitting land drops, and I am not. Cashing in their baubles. Hey, suddenly. Where am I on Thought Monitor? This costs 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I think I'd rather deploy Psy here. And then Psy can help build out the Thought Monitor next turn, because I have to use my Lotus Petal. Or 1, 2, 3, 4. No, I'm not even there, actually. Yep. I don't even have enough mana to do this. Chalice on 0. That's going to make all our lives difficult. Thought Monitor. I don't think this is the Force of Will. I mean, it sucks because I don't want them pulling ahead, but I'm really worried about Kappa Cannoneer or a Psy or Emery out of them. Okay, some source of mana or a trigger off Psy would be great. Okay, Mox Opal gets countered, but it does generate a Thopter, which makes Thought Monitor cost less, which generates another Thopter. We're in there on that. I drew the redundant legendary Adawara. What a tilt. There's 2 of those in the whole deck. And I'll play my Lotus Petal into the Chalice to get another Thopter. And I am on board. The first time in the game, I'm not holding up Force of Will. If they go for Kappa right now, I'm in trouble. This Urza Saga is trouble as well. Saga and Kappa were the 2 cards that break this game open. Oh, and they have both. Perfect. Nice. Okay. They've resolved 2 Thoughtcasts this game, and they have a Saga and a Kappa. I've resolved 1 Thoughtcast this game, and Psy is not quite going to keep up here. Emery, probably 1,000 years too late. I am just dead to this Kappa. Yeah, we're good here. That's one of the problems with Chalice of the Void decks. If you keep a hand that's all in on Chalice of the Void, and then your opponent just doesn't care, it's really bad. Urkel's Recall definitely coming in. I like Soul Guide Lantern. There is some graveyard stuff. I'm taking all the Chalices out. It's just not important. Haywire Might. We are teched out for the mirror. It heard me talking about it. Caracas hits all of the 3-drops in the deck. I kind of like that. Do I want to be Dismembering or Brazen Borrowing? I mean, more answers to Emery is nice. Are any of these less good? Do I need Aether Spellbomb if I have Caracas and multiple Dismembers in the deck? That hurts my artifact count if I cut it. Is Dismember better than Soul Guide Lantern? Because the thing that makes me care about the graveyard is Emery, and I could just bring in more answers to Emery. Yeah, I think I'm going to run it like this. Let's go. This hand does not turn 1 Emery. It does turn 2 Emery, and it has Saga. Doesn't have another land, though. Haywire Might is exciting. I'll try this. Saga. Opal. Haywire Might. I'm just going to run that one out there. And Opal's not quite on. I was 1 Lotus Petal away from this hand being nutso. Tomb, Lotus Petal from the opponent. Psy. I'm going to Force of Will this. I am not quite ready for it. The graveyard. Mishra's Bauble. Here they come. And both cracked immediately. They're not saving up for Affinity. They do want the redraws. Hope Ancient Tomb is on top of my deck. Urkel's Recall, my goodness. They have seen it, so that makes it less good. Shadow Spear turns on Opal, which gives me Emery. And let's start the beatdowns. There's a Kappa in my graveyard and 2 Mishra's Baubles. Where's this Bauble? Second Ancient Tomb, okay. No sign of blue mana over there. Yeah, they were all in on that Psy. Cool. I like that. On another opal, not really where I want to be. Gotta tutor up something that's going to help me here. Could get Aether Spell Bomb to try to keep pushing through. I could grab a Bauble, try to redraw my way out of this. Could get Lotus Petal, just store up some mana. I could invest in the future with Spell Bomb. I'm going to grab Spell Bomb. I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I can not cast... If I cast Kappa this turn, I have to give up my Mox Opal to do it. Really good card if it resolves. If it doesn't resolve, I wasted a lot of energy. I think it's worth the big swing. Where's my Opal? Target Kappa Cannoneer. Kappa's on the stack. And we're in there. Okay. Good news, everybody. The Gambit worked. Now I need to not get Hurkyl's recalled. Shit. Blue mana. Good news is they're really far behind. If they don't have something extreme like Hurkyl's recall, they're just dead. And they're just dead. Cool. Live and die by the stomp. I'm on the draw now, which makes me wonder if I want my third dismember in the deck. Really be able to respond to an Emery when I'm behind it. Not sure what else I'd want to cut at this point, though. I mean, Spellbomb might just be worse, but Spellbomb is recurring removal if we get into a grindy situation with Emery. I could cut Basic Island. I boarded in Caracas, so I am up 1 land overall. That is going down a blue source, which is a different sort of problem. Could shave a Bauble. I'm a little worried about shaving Baubles in the mirror because, like we saw, whichever player had the velocity won the game. All right, I'm going to shave a Bauble, though, against my better judgment. I think Dismember's worth it. This is a turn 1 Emery. You can announce Emery with Lotus Petal and Urza's Bauble in play, which locks in the cost at 1, and then you could sack Lotus Petal to pay that 1. But I don't think I want to be in that hard. Yeah, without a single land to back it up. This hand is almost the nuts. I'm going to mulligan, though. I'm very into this hand. I'm going to keep it and put... I actually need Haywire Might. I need all of the artifacts to make this hand work. I have to bottom either the Force or the Dismember. And I think it's the Force. I brought in Dismember to answer things. And Force is here to answer things, but I need the Emery to make this hand make sense. And I have exactly enough mana to Ancient Tomb, cast Haywire Might, cast Mishra's Bauble, play Mox Opal, which plays Emery, and then with my 1 floating, I can just... Grafdigger's Cage in the mirror? Are you sicko? Well, I am all in on Emery, so good call, I guess. Guess I'm not all in, though. I have Haywire Might. It's fine. I don't need to Ancient... Oh, yeah. No, I don't need to Ancient Tomb now. Might, Bauble, Opal, Emery. Okay, we're in there. And I can't Bauble yet because I need this green mana to remove Grafdigger's Cage. And I don't have a guarantee of Metalcraft next turn. Okay, they're just main phasing a construct. Fair enough. Thought Monitor in my graveyard. Ancient Tomb in my hand. Urza Saga. Great draw. Okay. Plan is to Urza Saga. Dismember the construct. Which member? Ha 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 ha. Great joke every time. And I'm going to attack first. Might as well get my damage in. And I have to remove Grafdigger's Cage, which gains me 2 life. Then I can Emery to Bauble, Rebauble, or I could play Haywire Might back. Seems kind of cracked. Yeah, I want my Might back. Card seems really good. Okay, here we go. Probably should have Baubled, because I do have Metalcraft guaranteed. They have Pithing Needle. They can name my Emery or my Mishra's Bauble or Urza Saga. But none of that matters because I have Haywire Might that can clear the needle. Yeah, I think I'm just going to leave Mishra's Bauble in play and let them do what they're going to do here. I kind of suspect Mox Opal based on how this has gone. Oh, Soul Guide Lantern. Sure. That functions, kind of. Another Saga. Okay. Hits keep coming. My Might can take out their Saga, Ancient Tomb, and Haywire Might take out the Saga. And if I try to cast Haywire Might right now, it'll force the action on Soul Guide Lantern. Wow, okay. They're not even waiting to force the action. Now I get to bobble for free. Wouldn't have been able to do that if they just waited. Memory targets. You don't need to jump that hard. Okay. Bobble you. Force of will on top of the deck. Okay. We're not at the force of will phase of the game. Play my bobble, play my other bobble. And I'm just going to sit on these for giant constructs. Yeah, that was a free card. That didn't need to happen. We both draw extra cards. Cast, hell yeah. Force of will in their hand. No land drop, no play. And I'm going into Saga Town. This looks good, barring some bullshit like Hurkyl's Recall. Ooh, big Cappy. Like that one. I get to tutor for... Do I want the Shadow Spear? Yeah, probably. As well, just brush. I'm going to start with a Thought Cast. That's free to do. Yeah, and they see the writing on the wall from here. We're pretty far ahead. There was one misstep with the Soul Guide Lantern, got a little antsy on that one, but otherwise, all three of these games came down to who got the engine running and who didn't. And as we could see here, Haywire Might actually dominated this game. They kept a double Saga hand with Grafdigger's Cage to turn off Emery stuff, and Haywire Might just killed the cage, killed the Saga, and then they did nothing. That was pretty awesome. Haywire Might, FT dubs, let's go.
This video is sponsored by Moxfield.com, the easiest way to build Magic decks online. Moxfield supports over 30 formats, including Legacy and every other format you'll see on this channel. They have multiple customizations so you can view your deck how you want. Text view, stacks, grid, custom grouping by type, subtype, color, light mode, dark mode. However you want to see your deck, they can provide it for you. My favorite feature is you can choose your set printing, make the deck look exactly how you want it to. The deck screen features expandable sections that show you what tokens your deck makes, your recent change history to the deck, stats about mana curve and opening hand distribution, mana cost distribution. You can deal out sample hands and even play test the deck. Island Ponder, you know I'm keeping this one. This site has everything. Follow me on Moxfield.com to keep up with decks I'm playing for the channel and what I'm up to in paper. I'll see you there.
I'm on the draw for round 2 with a turn 1 Emery and an Ursa Saga. Let's do it. No Chalice or Force, so we are just raw dogging life here. Let's hope it's a fair matchup. Ursa Saga, okay. I know about that card. Grindstone, okay. Mostly an unfair matchup then. Is there a Needle in this main deck? I don't believe there is. There is a Haywire Might, but their Saga is going to pop before mine. Drawing the Lotus Petal means I can Emery and play Urza Saga. I think that's worth doing. I have Ancient Tomb to accelerate the Saga. Emery is not that solid in this matchup because they're a deck with a zillion Red Blasts in it. And I am going to bobble right away. If I can find Force of Will, things get better. Goblin Welder in their hand. Good to know. There's Chalice. That is a really good card in the matchup, but I'm on the draw and they already have Grindstone. Chalice does turn off Pyroblast, which is non-zero. Ancient Tomb. And it doesn't look like they have a play. Good news. Uh-oh. JK, Spirit Guide Welder at the last second. Now I'm in trouble. This card is really hard to beat. Jeez, going to 0 cards in hand. All right. This opponent is not messing around. We are doing an Urza Saga game where I'm on the receiving end and they have Goblin Welder, which can turn my constructs into Lotus Petals. Bad news all around. Ancient Tomb, Urza's Bauble, and I'll pass the turn. I'm not playing the Chalice because Chalice on 0 is devastating against my deck and they barely care about it. And if they weld Chalice out into Lotus Petal, then weld it back in, it'll be on 0. And I'm just way behind. I'm going to make a construct. They just floated mana here. Not Mox Opal. That turns on the colors. And they drew Goblin Engineer, son of a bitch. I'm not dead right now. They're 1 mana short of killing me right this second. Unless there's a pivot where they just don't even get the Painter and Just weld in something fucked up right now. Be a great spot for Chaos Defiler, but that's not on Magic Online yet. Phyrexian Dragon Engine. Yep, that qualifies. Full Strike. Enters the battlefield from your graveyard. Discard your hand, draw 3 cards. Not going to block. I don't want to make it completely free for them to activate their welder however they want. Haywire Might. Just draw on that one. Cool. No main deck Pithing Needle is actually brutal here. If I could name welder, clear that out. Huge deal. I think I have to get Aether Spellbomb and set up a multi-turn line where they lose their welder. Attacking for 5. Dragon Engine is a trigger that says you may discard your hand if you do draw 3 cards. I can bounce welder in response to Dragon Engine's trigger, and then they can decide if they want 3 cards or welder. Okay, they are making the switch, and I'll respond to the trigger by bouncing welder, and they did discard the welder. Get 3 fresh cards. Grindstone's out of play. Goblin Engineer can't kill my things. Oh, they ripped Painter. That's bad news. That means... Oh, they just drew a second welder. Okay. Yeah, that was a pretty good draw 3. I tried. I don't have green for Haywire Might. If I play Seat of the Synod, I can try to Thought Monitor into Mox Opal, and then I get the Haywire Might. Oh, I should have mighted first. Or, yeah, it would have saved me 1 mana. This one's already cost 1. On Mox Opal. Did not get there on Mox Opal. Haywire Might, get in. Trust Bobble, get in. I'll at least make an attack. They have to block one of these. They take 9. They actually can't tap Ancient Tomb. They have kind of real pressure on the board. That matters at all. No, it doesn't. They just flip one of the blockers into Grindstone, then they have the 3 and plenty of life. And me, without a Mox Opal to exile Grindstone. This was close. Alright. GG. Let me just make sure there's nothing in my list that can beat an activation. Oh, nothing that tucks itself. Okay. Got me. I can at least look at their hand on top of their deck and get some information. Table and another welder. Okay. So I've learned they play 300 Goblin Welders. GG. Pithing Needle into the main. I think I was firmly driving that game if I had a Pithing Needle in the main deck. Perks, Brazen Bower, all the Dismembers and Pithing Needle. Alice is really good. Haywire Might's good. I'm upgrading all my removal. Force of Will is sketchy because of all the blasts they play. They're also a combo deck, but I'm boarding in a ton of on-board interaction. I can move off the Force plan. I have Chalices and all of these removal spells. I don't think I want Fairy Macabre. It has text, but I don't know if it's actually that good. Guess I'm shaving a Bauble to make room here. I don't want to go too low on those, but or is Sai worse than Bauble for this matchup? I'm going to cut a Sai instead. Do I want the Soul Guide Lantern? They do use their graveyard. Don't want the Macabre, but the Lantern's tutorable. Okay, I'll cut the Bauble after all. Soul Guide Lantern's in. In we go. Looking for Chalice of the Void here, ideally. This is a turn 1 Emery that holds back a turn 1 Sai. I'm actually going to keep this. It's not the Chalice I was looking for, but it is a strong start. Play Seat and Petal, and that gives me Emery. I could hold this other Petal, like with Sai next turn. The Sai starts to get the Thought Monitor going. I don't expect this Emery to untap at all. Nope, no chance. Ooh, another Emery. I can do everything I want to do here. Play Otawara, play Sai, then play Lotus Petal, which makes a Thopter, and then Lotus Petal casts the Emery. Overload you on blue stuff. See if it works. There's somewhere between 6 and 8 Red Blasts in this deck, plus the Lightning Bolts. I don't feel great, but I am doing what I can do here. Out my poor Emery. And there's Painter. Might just be dead. Mox Opal is my best draw. Does this get me there? I'm still 1 short. Yeah, this costs 5 right now. Yeah, it might just die. That was a pretty insane start, but Painter is a rough matchup for a cast. Fable. Awesome. Is it Goblin token? It's Chalice. Happy to see that one. Basically anytime. But they can currently red blast it because everything's blue. It is in though, and I'm still one short. That cost me 2 and made 2, so next turn I can Thought Monitor. Discarded Phyrexian Dragon Engine and Great Furnace. Dragon Engine costs 5 to unearth the hard way, which they do have. Did they choose to use it? I'm going to double block. Without 1-drops, it'll be hard to finish off the Psy, and I could still Thought Monitor. Thought Cast. I think it's better to start on Thought Cast, because I might draw artifacts and make Thought Monitor cheaper. God, they're casting a spell. Are they gonna like Abrade and then Pyroblast? Son of a bitch. Alright. Would have been way better to start on Thought Monitor, because that at least triggers the Psy, and I am 1 mana short. Brutal. Opponent's down to 2 cards in hand. Their Fable is flipping. 1 card in hand. They can unearth Dragon Engine and play Soul Guide Lantern. They can do both. Yeah, they could just draw 3 right now and attack me for 4, because I'm not going to trade Psy for their engine. Not even going to trade, it just gets eaten. Yep, here's this card. That was a really good turn. Taking my damage here. Lotus Petal. And Goblin Engineer. This can get the Grindstone, and they're just waiting for a Welder. Yep, Grindstone it is. Engine is gone. That's how Unearth works. Okay, Lotus Petal's great. That's multiple mana for Thought Monitor. Let's try to get something going here. I'm going to use the Ancient Tomb and leave up my blue sources and just hope that this turn keeps going. Cast, hell yeah. Mox Opal. Triz Bauble. Got a lot of friends coming in here. Okay, we are both dead on board. Oh wait. Last turn when I said they need to find a goblin. This is a goblin. It's an entomb and a goblin. That's the whole point. Come on, man. Get it together. Okay. That means I need to start sacrificing artifacts to draw cards. Sack some Thopters. Oh my god. Shit. Okay, I'm gonna bobble you. Your top card is Pyroblast. That's pretty good. I'm gonna attack for the 2 that I have. And 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. They are 1 short of dead on board. That's a tilt. Do I want to hit the Painter or the Engineer? I think it's the Engineer, because Engineer can rebuy Painter. Oh, and Reflection, making copies of Engineer. Yeah, get rid of Engineer. That 1 draw with Psy was a good one. Blade of your outs. Okay, passing the turn. Unfortunately, because I sacked 2 Thopters, I don't have lethal anymore. If they tap Ancient Tomb, I become lethal. I know they're holding a Pyroblast now. They might just take out Psy. But Psy, I guess Psy can still draw cards. Psy's Thopter phase of the game is over. The Thopters are already going to kill them. They're drawing a card with Soul Guide Lantern. They're swinging for the win here. They know they can protect it if they need to Pyroblast. They find a Grindstone. They're good to go. Fury is also a nightmare here because they can copy it and machine gun my shit. Oh no, they're tapping mana. Big elbow taps. Come on, don't Fury me. Not like this. Fiery Confluence. My god. Destroy target artifact and deal 1 to each creature. Oof. Well, that's nasty as hell. And then they Pyroblast my Psy. Okay. That was certainly a draw. Somehow still better than Fury would have been for me, but fuck. And now all this dismembering and ancient tombing that I thought I was safe behind my wall of creatures, suddenly in a lot of trouble. Yeah, I am going to lose this game quickly from here. Oh, Magus of the Moon. No problem. Through my basic. Fuck you, Magus of the Moon. I'm still just dead, but damn. There is not a draw. Or if I get a Thoughtcast into additional stuff, that could still get me out of this. Kappa Cannoneer, you are late. I needed you last turn, and we're dead. That was a really great match. Came down to exciting top decks. I ripped the Dismember when I was dead on board off of a single cantrip effect. They ripped the Fiery Confluence when they were almost dead on board off a single cantrip effect. Awesome game. GG's.
You come here to level up at Magic. To level up as a software engineer, check out the new YouTube series Dev Better, hosted by the founder of 7-Factor Software and Magic player, Jeremy Duvall. 7-Factor's small teams of high-performing engineers build custom mobile apps, APIs, and highly scalable systems for Fortune 500 companies and ambitious startups with great ideas. If you'd like to hire 7-Factor, or maybe join their team, contact them through their website at 7factor.io. And don't forget to subscribe to 7-Factor's YouTube for every episode of Dev Better.
I'm on the draw in round 3 against Storm Guy Is Me, and historically, they've not been lying about playing combo. This hand can turn 1 Thoughtcast and maybe also turn 1 Thought Monitor and see where we go. I'm in. It doesn't have Chalice or Force of Will, which are things that I like in Storm matchups, but I'm only willing to go so far on this. We're just getting show and telled. Oh, blue initiative. Fuck yeah. Yeah, I'm cool with this. Not even mad about it. Blue-white initiative with Lotus Petal. Neat. Bobble. Bobble. Petal. Opal. I'm going to Thoughtcast first, see where that goes, and then decide if I'm going to play Saga or Seat. Force of Will. Oh, they had Force of Will back up. Very Time Reveler, my god. Scary deck. Okay, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I could cast Thought Monitor here and spend my Lotus Petal to do it. It gives me a flying attacker against their hand that is plains and a mystery card. I believe this is worth doing. Nice. Got a little Force of Will backup of my own. Do I want to hold on to Affinity? No, I want to redraws. If I could Force of Will, All Breacher is the other card in hand. Yikes. Glad I bobbled when I did. Opal, no blue card off my bobble redraws. Just gotta hope they brick this turn, I guess. Their hand currently doesn't do anything. Obviously not gonna block. I'm here to take the initiative. Yes, Emery was a great draw. That means I have a blocker to keep the initiative. Even have a basic land to tutor for. That's just good deck building. That's not the land I'm playing. I'm playing Urza Saga. And summoning Emery. Oh, you drew Force of Will? Come on. That's alright. Now you're Hellbent, and we're just slapping back and forth. I'm going to take 10 this turn, and then I'm going to poke the initiative back against the Hellbent opponent and have Urza Saga tokens to block. Let's get over this finish line. If any of these 4 blanks in my hand were a blue card, this game would already be over. Oh, I'm at 5. And Seagate. Okay. Opponent's Hellbent. How about a blue card deck? Produce me a blue card. Doesn't even matter which one. Okay, Emery's a good one. I'm going to play my island. I'm going to attack my opponent. I regain the initiative. And I'm going to forge onto my Thought Monitor. I am in the business of racing here. And I think holding up Force of Will to block is better than deploying Emery here. I'm going to live and die by that decision. 1, 2, 3, 4. My Saga token, 1.2 small to trade with White Plume. That's a shame. They drew Touch the Spirit Realm right now. I'm going to lose my mind. Chump block here. Next turn, my creatures will be bigger than theirs. Okay, another land. I think we're over the hump here. Going upstairs for 5. Going into the trap. I would goad their creature just to eat it, but I think they're going to attack anyway. There's Construct token, and I don't want Aether Spell Bomb because casting a creature regains the initiative, and I'm currently just bricking that. Shadow Spear is pretty good. Shadow Spear, get that in here. I can Ancient Tomb and equip, go down to 3, go right back up, gain all that back. Yeah! Turns out doing 12 mana worth of plays on turn 1 can catch up with the initiative. That's all it takes. Okie dokie, Artichokes. Virtue's Ruin. This is what it's here for. I don't think I want Force of Negation. Brazen Borrower is a maybe. They're a Lotus Petal deck. It's possible they commit too early and can't finish if I bounce their creature. Force of Negation is tricky because am I going to Force of Negation a Lotus Petal to try to take them off 3 mana on turn 1? If I'm not willing to do that, then I shouldn't bring it in. Various Dismembers. Chalice of the Void, I'm not really interested in for this matchup. Wire Might, I'm not interested in. Thigh seems great Emery's a cheap creature that can block. Hot Monitor, instrumental in that victory. It'd just be one of the baubles, I guess. Okay. This makes sense to me. Grafdigger's Cage can turn off the Throne of the Dead 3, but it also turns off many of the cards in my own deck, which I'm not trying to do. This hand, Saga, Bauble, Petal, Thought Monitor costs 3. Can't even do that. Dismember doesn't help if they have the initiative and I can't take it. Still no Force of Will, still no Acceleration. This has the same Dismember and nothing else problem. I'm going to mulligan this one also. All right. This one at least has Force Blue card. I'm going to keep, and I'm going to bottom the Virtue's Ruin, and I think it has to be Thought Monitor. The Shadow Spear gets Thoughtcast off the ground, maybe. I guess I play more artifacts than I do blue cards. Okay, I'm going to bottom Shadow Spear. This is not a pretty hand. I've been forced to make ugly decisions. Opponent's on 6 and making moves with a Chrome Mox. Turn 1 Hull Breacher. We counter that. That's in the graveyard. Another Thoughtcast, okay. Ancient Tomb is the draw I'm looking for. Okay. They did bait Force of Will with their second best creature. Cavern on Human is terrifying, because White Plume Adventurer is not a human, but Seasoned Dungeoneer is. Oh, that's the good one. This will quickly undo their mulligan. I don't think I'm winning this race, ever. Interesting, they tutored for Island when they already have Chrome Mox on blue. That makes me think that they have their planes in hand. Okay, I drew a land. They milled Solitude into their graveyard. I'm going to tutor up Mox Opal. Do I have to Spellbomb this opponent? Spellbomb doesn't get me anywhere. All right, I'm going to get Mox Opal. Then play Seed of the Synod, make a construct. And I'm 1 short of Thoughtcasting. I'm at least on the board. I'm at 8. They have a 6 power attacker that could become 7. Here's the basic planes. Told ya, told ya. Pay attention to this stuff, folks. It all matters. Exploration revealed White Plume Adventurer, which they did leave on top of the deck. I go to 1. Bad scene, team. I need Virtue's Ruin. Psy ain't it. Psy do anything. I can tutor the Spellbomb here. Grab either Spellbomb, and currently with the number of artifacts that I have, I can Thoughtcast. Gives me another land with which I can Thoughtcast. Can't Force of Will from this life total anyway. Can't Dismember without a second Mox Opal. If they have, or they can't cast Solitude with the mana they have. This 1 floating mana is not doing anything for me, so it's going to attack for 5. We'll take the initiative. Search for an island, which is great because I actually do need a land drop. And I will pass the turn. You get to draw an extra card here. And then enter the throne when they recast their thing. Yeah, I am in trouble. Time to bounce this jerk. Yeah, by casting its second main. Oh, right. They didn't have the initiative to start the turn, so they don't go straight into the throne. Right. Saying there's a chance. Except not really. Draw a card here. I do get to attack, and they can decide if they want to block, which loses them their creature. Then they go into the throne. This is weirdly close-ish. If I Island and Otawara, I can just take the initiative. No questions asked, but then they replay, then they enter the throne. Next turn. How can I invest in success here? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I could play Kappa, but then I don't get to attack. Being at 1 really cramping my style here. Guess I'll Otawara this thing and just guarantee the connection. And by guarantee, I mean they still could have Solitude. Yep, okay. Had me the whole time. Which means they're going to keep the initiative, go into the Throne of the Dead 3, hit anything with initiative. They have 2 initiative creatures in their hand. We don't need to keep playing this one. GG. That did put me up to 5 life, but knowing they have multiple hits coming, that was pretty cool. That was a tight one. I don't think my plan changes. I'm just back in with the same deck. Force of Will just in the opener. Not really going anywhere fast, but I am going to keep this. Gonna bobble for the redraw, get a peek at your hand. There's a City of Traders over there. And Feet of the Synod. Dismember, cool. Now I don't have to force Hall Breacher. That's good news. There it was, the moment of heroism where am I gonna force a Chrome Mox? And I am not. Answer. Palace on 0, that's a tilt. But I do have Brazen Borrower. Adventurer. Force Pitching Sigh. Are your last cards Force Blue card? Flusterstorm. That's so much worse. This is a sweet deck. And we're dead. We're not dead. I'm gonna dismember this thing and then try to play the game. Alrighty, the initiative is yours. I am just snapping the dismember. Get it done. Get it out. Ancient Tomb. Oh, Emery. That's a card I can cast. Oh yeah. Creature on board. Initiative under threat. We're gonna have to go into Lostwell, but I'm glad I dismembered when I did. I could have waited for them to target with Forge to try to eat up an activation or eat up a trigger, but then I wouldn't have been able to spend all my mana and curve out. Bottomed off of that. Oh, come on! All these good cards in your deck. Okay, come on, land. Give me that Brazen Borrower. Something to attack with. Shit! Can't cast this card. That's probably gonna end it. Just not hitting there is brutal. And into the stash, made a treasure. Now they have blue without losing their city. Fairy Time Raveler. Sweet Jesus. That's not a card I can beat. Bounce to my Seat of the Synod. Makes sense. Clearly not in a good spot to use it. Ancient Tomb off the top. Seat of the Synod. Bummer. That was a really good Teferi activation. Do I want to just Brazen Borrower this Chrome Mox now? That could actually be good. I'm going to do it. Fuck the zeros in my deck. They do get a Spooky Skeleton this turn. Seat of the Synod. Sigh is better than Thoughtcast right now. Brazen Borrower might have been better than Sigh. 3-1 flyer. They're going into the throne, though. They can hit Solitude here, any other thing. Oh yeah, they get their pick. Solitude, Hall Breacher. Yeah, we're good. You did it. They had the Flusterstorm and the Swords to Plowshares to punch through their initiative and protect it. That was a really great start. Really cool build of this deck. I've put initiative into some fair blue shells, and this is an unfair blue shell with the white initiative cards. Really cool. Let's keep going.
We're a few rounds into the video. Thanks for sticking with me. Friendly reminder that if you're still here and having fun, smash that subscribe button. And if you want to play what I'm playing, you can use my affiliate link for TCG Player to support the channel while you shop for cards, and you can try any deck anytime with a cardhoarder.com loan account for Magic Online. All these links are in the video description below. Now back to the league.
I'm on the draw, or on the play in round 4, and this hand is almost there. It's one artifact short of turning on Mox Opal, which means it's a blue mana short of doing anything. In a mulligan. Okay. I could turn one Sigh and just go all in. Just Lotus Petal Ancient Tomb. It could turn one Emery off of Urza's Saga and then follow it up with Ancient Tomb to crank out. I actually like that. And I think I'm bottoming the Sigh here. That's just not in my curve the way that I described how this hand's going to work. Urza's Saga. Lotus Petal. And this is the thing I was talking about earlier, where if you announce Emery, it locks in the cost at 1 and a blue. However, if you sack Lotus Petal for a blue and then try to cast Emery, you won't have enough because it costs 3. One of those funny little things. Here is Emery. Chalice of the Void, Haywire Might in the graveyard alongside the Lotus Petal. Misty Rainforest. That's not a lightning bolt. Hook it to my veins. And this Emery resolves so quickly that I'm going to go for Chalice here. I think investing in the future on Chalice is worth doing. I can do it around days. I even drew Force for the backup. There we go. Chalice on the stack. And Chalice in play. Cool. Now I have to stabilize against this Delver, which Thought Monitor can do eventually. Or I could just tutor up the Aether Spellbomb and clear it. Still not a Wasteland. Take my 1 from Sad Little Fugitive Wizard. Thoughtcast, cool. And make a construct. And I think I want to get Shadow Spear. Just rock out here. I can't replay the Spell Bomb because of my own Chalice, so I'm just not going to try. Ottawa as my land. Lotus Petal around Daze. Now I can Thought Cast, which also ignores Daze. Big constructs coming in. This is enough to Thought Monitor, which also bricks Delver, still playing around Daze. We're in there with that. And hit 2 extra lands. Do I want to bobble to try to find a blue card, or leave this in play to keep my construct large? I think my construct's large enough. I'm going to bobble. Got a Brainstorm on top. That's not going to help you. Found a Chalice. Didn't find the blue card I was looking for. Flipped the Brainstorm, then shuffled it away. Good call. They can't Murktide from here. They can EI. And there it is. Did find a Wasteland. They're going to use it now or save it for a Saga. Or just concede. Yep, that's a good call. Game 1 looks like that. Game 2, they're going to have meltdowns, and things get a lot harder. I like Brazen Borrower. I like Soul Guide Lantern. I think you need the Force of Wills for the meltdowns. Though I don't think I want to add Force of Negations on top of that. Haywire Might doesn't do anything here. And maybe I'm shaving a Bauble. It's been a popular choice. I think Needle on Wasteland actually has a lot of play in this matchup, but I don't think I'm going to go there. I'm doing it like this. And I'm not bringing in the Dismembers because Psy, Kappa, and Thought Monitor get in front of their creatures pretty well anyway. I just don't think there's a lot of room for stuff like that. Might be wrong. I don't know. 8 cast experts, let me know. This is an accelerated Saga. Just turn 1 Saga, turn 2 Ancient Tomb. That plan collapses to a Wasteland, and I'm not really doing anything else. I'm going to mulligan this. No blue source here. This is the same hand, except this one can redraw twice. Do I want to bet on a redraw versus going to 5? I think I'm going to keep this one. I don't want to go to 5. This bottom the Kappa. Ooh, okay. I could turn 1 Psy. That gets blasted by Pyro and Reb and Daze and Force. It does make them have those things though, but in their deck with 8 1-drops plus 4 Ponders, they just went land go. Yeah, I'm not gonna feed the fish. I'm gonna drop out my Baubles. And I'll save the Lotus Petal. I'm gonna look at their hand now. Delver of Secrets. Look, they had a 1-drop and didn't use it. This is somebody who's up to no good. I'm saving back the Lotus Petal because I don't want it to get swept up by a meltdown. Wasteland, Tough Beats. I'm going to bobble them again. Would like draw some action. Okay. All right, they realized I'm not playing into Pyroblast. Let's hope they didn't draw a Daze. Their top card is Lightning Bolt. That does not answer Psy. Does flip Delver. Another Saga. Tricky. I'm going with the Psy right now. I think they have Red Blast, and I'm going to take what I perceive to be my opening. They could still have Daze or Force, but I'm making my move. Nice, we're in there. And I do want the redraw. Yep, Pyroblast confirmed, told you. And they could still just cast it, but I had my moment. Another Psy, still don't have a blue source. Just like with tutoring the island last game, your opponents are telling you stuff with the plays that they make. Listen to them. Game, I couldn't have a second one here. Okay, they don't have lands anymore. I drew a blue source for the Resci. And they could bolt this Thopter anyway. I'm trying to work my way up to Thought Monitor. I'm going to take my damage from Delver. This next turn, if I can get Thought Monitor onto the stack, then Lightning Bolt doesn't get through 2 Thopters and a 2/2. Their hand is all spells, though. They missed their land drop last turn. Oh, second Pyroblast, bummer. Okay, that's pretty good. Yeah, I would have kept this hand too. Another Ancient Tomb. Thought Monitor costs 6. Ancient Tomb doesn't even get me there. Okay, I think now I'm going to hold back Thopter to absorb damage. If they spend Lightning Bolt on this, then they don't have Lightning Bolt for Thought Monitor. Ponder. Getting something going now. Shocked and Steam Vents. We got more spells. Gain my 3 life. Emery. Not helpful. In order to cast Emery, I would have to tap Ancient Tomb to activate Urza Saga. and then also tap Ancient Tomb. Emery's not worth 6 life here, or 4 life going to 6, especially because they literally have 6 damage on the board. And this Thought Monitor is full price. Yeah, we're not doing this. I am dead. Okay. Wasteland, 2 Pyroblasts, all of it backed by turn 1 Delver, or effectively turn 1 Delver before I was doing anything. That was solid. Dismember would have been good there, which is an important lesson. I don't think I'm going to bring it in, but it would have been good there. All right, same deck. Let's go. Turn 1 Chalice with Force backup. Chalice of the Void going onto the stack. Let's go. They force me. I force you. And we're in there. I'm saving my Lotus Petal to trigger Psy with next turn. They Wasteland me, we're going to have to slow down a little bit. Yep, there's that. But Wastelanding me also slows down their spells. Okay. I will at least cast Psy this turn. No triggers to go with him, but he's chilling. Ready for anything. All in. Scalding Tarn. Come on, Artifact. Shit. I'm not going to sack 2 mana sources to draw a card here. I'm just going to hope that this holds for a little while. But if they melt down, I can at least get some value off of it. Hope they don't do that. Oh, come on, deck. There's not that many bad draws here, but I'm hitting them. They fetched in the end step, then didn't do anything with the mana. 1, 2, 3. They could Murktide here. Oh my god. Continue beating down with Psy. Psy's got in for 1/4 of their life points so far. Wasteland, bummer. This is a tough call. I don't think a random card is worth 2 mana sources here. It's definitely not worth the Chalice. Okay. Got me. Oh, it was 2 mana sources anyway, but okay. Immediately unlocked the Opal, which is what I was looking for. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1 short on Kappa. I think exchanging this Bauble for a card is worth the velocity. Bauble you. There is a Pyroblast in your hand. There's a Saga. Cool. That's a good one. And Lotus Petal. Now we're cooking. I get to put Kappa on this stack. Opponent said the Chalice is going crazy. It tends to do that in this matchup. Okay. Now we got all axes firing. They have to get through the Chalice before they do anything else. Meltdown is still a problem, but they don't have it and they're just dead. All right. Win on the board against Delver. And being solid against Delver is one of the draws to this deck. It is a deck with 0 reserveless cards that's good against the Boogeyman. Good shit. On to the next round. The final round.
For the absolute best Magic the Gathering apparel on the market, check out the link in the video description to coalesceapparel.shop and be sure to use the code BoshNRoll for 10% off when you check out.
I'm on the draw for the final round. And we have a turn 1 Chalice. I'm in. I can Chalice or Embry based on what the matchup's about. Ancient Tomb. Oh no. Okay, well, this matchup's not going to be about Chalice. Blood Moon. Okay. I am actually just fine with that. Seed of the Synod is still an artifact, even when it's a mountain. I still get Metalcraft. I still cast Emery. Even play the Shadow Spear. And I don't want to Chalice on 0. I don't think I want to bobble them either. There's a Thought Monitor in my graveyard that getting that into play would be pretty great. There's a War Boss. Okay. I can eat the token, get some control over this situation. I didn't get Furied, which was the important part of this situation. Okay, this Bauble is great. Play Bauble from hand. Play Aether Spellbomb. There's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 artifacts in play. That's Thought Monitor. Get you in here. Haywire Might. That can answer the Blood Moon if I need it to. Now I'm holding up Force of Will. This is a good spot to be in. Now I will start bobbling them. Magus of the Moon and also Magus of the Moon. That's probably not 2 Magi. It's probably the same one twice. But let's draw some cards. Land and another Emery. The second Emery is easy force fodder. Once I get this Shadow Spear equipped to something, this should be over pretty quick. There's the Fury. Pitching Magus of the Moon. Force pitching Emery. That's the card I was worried about last turn, and they played out Land, which is the last card in their hand. If War Boss attacks, I'm trading with it. Trading with a war boss when you have Emery in play and can replay the Thought Monitor, just chef's kiss. Alrighty, this is a lot of chalices. A lot more than I want or need in my life. I don't really want to remove the Blood Moon because their own Den of the Bugbears are stuck under it right now. I'm going to start with a Thought Cast. See where that gets me. Gets me into Kappa Cannoneer. Deal. Lotus Petal. Get that in. Haywire Might is free. Then blue, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I can get Bobble up here. There's Kappa. Back for 2. Game is probably over. Yeah, I wish I could play these chalices to grow the Kappa, but memory is too good. Yep, sweet. Just like round 1 started with me going all in on a Chalice of the Void in a matchup, it didn't matter. My opponent just went all in on Blood Moon and it didn't matter. Or at least against a hand where it didn't matter. There are hands that Blood Moon is really good against, but that wasn't one of them. Dismembers are coming in. I think Force of Negation and Brazen Borrower are things that I want. Haywire Might actually pretty good. Chalices all come straight out. I like Shadow Spear. I like the Might. So Might is worse with Brazen Borrower and all these forces in the deck. Okay. I'm gonna cut Might actually. All Bomb is still fine. Shadow Spear is great. And I think we're just in the shave a bauble situation. And gotta shave one more thing here. I want to keep my blue cards because I'm bringing in 3 more forces. Even Opal. And Opal's so good in your opening hand, but the second one is not good. Also really good at playing around Blood Moon. If they Chalice on 0 me, I'm in trouble, but that's what these forces are for. Okay. Opal's out. Maybe that's supposed to be a bauble. I'm going this way. They're also on the play in a matchup where Chalice on 0 hurts me and Chalice on nothing hurts them. I would have snapped this hand off with an Ancient Tomb involved, but as it is, I gotta send it. Just doesn't go anywhere. This is the same hand. Except this one has Psy in it. And Lotus Petal. I think I'm going to keep this and send the bauble. Yeah, Lotus Petal is worth something to me. And going to 5 doesn't seem great. Chrome Mox. I'm not taking the hero mode of countering that. Rhinosphere. Well, in a lot of trouble with that card. I'm going to Force of Negation that pitching, Force of Will. Lotus Petal is actually a pretty good draw. I could just jam Psy here. I think that's fine. That's rough against Fury and Pyroblast, but it's really good against Goblins. 3 cards in hand. Shit. Okay, Ancient Tomb off the top. Easy mode, easy mode. Uh-oh. Okay. Oh, we're both in a slap fight now. They're pretty far ahead in the slap fight, though. I hope they just play a Rabble Master. Or play nothing. That works for me, too. This island is nice. Do I want to get Mox Opal and invest in a future that may never come? I think I just need to get a bauble here and start drawing cards. What do you got over there? A mountain that you don't want to play because of your City of Traders. All right, I got a blue card for Force now. Is a goblin. I have the Dismember. All right, deck, let's get something going here. Just land drop. Yeah, okay. We're going. I think I have to force this. It just is going to kill me. Too good. All right, deck, time to rip the Emery. Get to the Synod. Dropping them. Starting to grind through this. They still have 3 cards in their hand that are in a basic mountain, to my knowledge. Oh, they're making their move. They're just playing a Fury? Sure. Okay. Used a Spirit Guide and their land drop to make that happen. Pretty strong. Okay, what do I want? Dismember? Ottawa? Deal. Get the fuck out. Fury's back in their hand, and they have 3 mana. Force of Will. If I draw a land before they draw 2, I can hardcast Force on the Fury. Shit. A little late to the party here. But that's probably going to do it. Now that they can use Fury to keep blockers, and I don't really have a sweeper in my deck. And there's nothing threatening to arrive here and hold a Shadow Spear. I'm just going to die real quick. Made a fight out of this one. I was hellbent multiple turns in a row, just doing nothing. Now I'm dead on board. Yeah, there's nothing I can hit here. I'm just going to concede. Okay, now I get one on the play. Haywire Might is a 1-1, right? Yeah, if it was a 1-2, I might bring it in just to absorb goblin attacks, but that's not enough for me. Let's do this. Same deck. Positive record on the line. Down to one game in the Stompy Mirror, the different color Stompy Mirror. On the play, I don't really have a start here. I have turn 2 Emery, force back up. I dismember a 1-drop, force something along the way. I am actually going to keep this. It's medium, but it does a lot of things that I want. If either of these thought casts was just a bauble, just some artifact, this hand would be a lot better. Opponent also kept 7. That's tough. Alice on 0. Fuck. I hate that shit. This is what I'm talking about. Why this matchup hurts so much. Or the Chalice mirrors where you have to board Chalice out, but Chalice is great against you. Unlicensed Hearse. Well, good news about that is Emery already was non-functional thanks to the Chalice. Fucking you, jerk. Drawing the Mox Opal after all this happens. My Shadow Spear and Brazen Borrower, both one-ofs, just hit the graveyard. Those are tough ones to lose. And the Shadow Spear would have been castable up Emery without the Hearse. I'm just not really seeing it, though. A world where Unlicensed Hearse is the best thing to force a negation out of this deck. Like, how about this card? Do I care about this card? And it messes up my Thoughtcast. I'm not really Thoughtcasting anyway. I'm gonna let that resolve too. We're already in. Okay. Time to start attacking. This is the game plan. I do have 3 mana, multiple forces in my hand. Opponent is tapping Ancient Tomb over there. It costs me 6 life to cast Dismember. That hurts. Luckily, their Trinisphere is holding back their own Fury. Or are they just going to Pyroblast on my turn? And then tap me out under the Trinisphere? That would be pretty smart. Alright, second 3-ball. You got it. I had no intentions of answering the first one. Yo, what's up? Urza Saga. This card doesn't care about Trinisphere. As far as I'm concerned, that Trinisphere was just 2 extra damage that I got in for free. Okay, they're passing the turn. Is now the time for the my turn Pyroblast? And that's fine if it is, because now Saga's on. Yep, and Pyroblast dealt 2 damage to you. That's the same as Emery connecting, actually a little bit better. Now they can put me in the spot, though, where if I force a spell, I don't get to Saga. This is where the Trinisphere actually does matter. Fuck is this? Oh no. Whenever you attack, you may sacrifice another creature or an artifact. If you do, make a 4/1 skeleton creature with menace that's tapped and attacking. I can never ever beat this card. Whenever you attack. Okay. So I think I should dismember and save my force of will. Do I want to dismember it or Hearse? Hearse is a 5/5. It can crew the Hearse immediately. This resolves. Doesn't have haste. We're good there. Okay. 5/5. Oh shit. I can't hit the Hearse because they could tap and exile Pyroblast before, but once they attack, it's too late. Alright, so I have to dismember the gut. Take 6 to do that, then I take 5 from this attack. That was actually a pretty painful turn. That was going to be a painful turn no matter what. It's Force of Will, it's less painful. Go to 7. Now I get to start doing Saga stuff. Thought Monitor. Take a 1/1. Tutor up, probably Aether Spellbomb. Mox Opal's not on, and it's never going to be. Yeah, I'm going to grab Aether Spellbomb. Let's try to hang out here. Force of Will is off for the turn. They haven't hit a land drop since turn 2, so we know their hand is all spells. Gotta hope all those spells are locked under their own Trinispheres. Hope they're sitting on Lotus Petals and shit like that. Okay, we're just going to Second main, that's good. I was really worried about a goblin because any of the goblin cards, if it... Oh, they played City of Traders. Yeah, any of the goblin cards could have Crude on licensed turrets and made a 1/1, and I can't deal with both. Else on 0. Completely brutal. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I'm one short on Kappa Cannoneer. Improvise, I believe, beats Trinisphere. I could attack and just get obliterated by a Spirit Guide if they activate Den of the Bugbear. I think I'm just going to pass. Feels bad, but where I am. I'm going to discard this Bauble. Any mana source lets them double spell this turn. They are at 5 mana. Second Hearse, I don't care about. Yeah, that's actually great because now I can attack without being worried about Spirit Guide. Oh, sick. Key to the Synod. Kappa is when an artifact enters the battlefield. I could just die to a lot of stuff, or I could put them dead on board. If they make any red source activate Den of the Bugbear, use it to crew unlicensed hearse, then I have to chump with Kappa, and I'm just not going anywhere anyway. Yeah, I think I should attack here. Now I can Force of Will and Aether Spell Bomb, which is something I couldn't do with what I had last turn. All right, let's go. When it's at 5, if they tap an Ancient Tomb and they don't kill me, they're dead on board. And not attacking that one turn, they could be at 3 and dead on board right now, but I also could have been blown out by a Spirit Guide. I can just hardcast Force of Negation, but then I can't hold up blue. Else on 1. I don't care about that. Doesn't change anything. All right, deck, Seat of the Synod, or any land really is good. Force doesn't matter. I'm going to put you to 2. Now you can't tap the Ancient Tomb. They have to beat me through Force of Will. Okay, they have to beat Force here and Aether Spell Bomb. Because of Seat of the Synod, Construct is still a 2/2, even if I Aether Spell Bomb, which is their life total. They can't double spell because that requires Ancient Tomb. They are evoking Fury. I'm going to Force of Will, which does put me to 2 from all the pain I need to take to do this. But them being at 2 for this Ancient Tomb is the saving grace here, even if they have Spirit Guide Pyroblast. Okay, that was a weird game. Scrappy, stompy on stompy action, which resulted in a positive record with 8 cast. This deck's got a lot of nuance to it. Sideboarding's actually kind of hard. I know Bob Wong has been playing this a lot. You should probably talk to him. I don't know if he has a sideboard guide or Patreon post or anything about it, but there are excellent players who've been working a lot harder on this deck than I have who could really map out the sideboard for you. I know I struggled in a lot of spots. The main deck Haywire Might was pretty cool a couple times, but we also lost a game because it wasn't Pithing Needle. So this 5-match set is a wash on that one. Virtue's Ruin didn't come up, but we did play against the initiative. It was nice to know that there was an eject button in the deck, even though I didn't get to draw it. And I don't think we really had that many color problems between the opals and petals to make the Haywire Might or the Virtue's Ruin happen. Haywire Might, I think I could activate it every time I needed to, except there was one game against Painter where I just literally didn't have enough mana, but if I did have one more colorless anywhere, then I would have had the green. It just came up a little short on raw mana, not necessarily colors. But yeah, this deck rules. No reserve list cards, kind of budget for Legacy, still expensive, but cheaper than a deck full of dual lands. It's a Chalice of the Void deck, it's a Force of Will deck, and it has a fast clock. This is a serious monster, serious contender. Don't sleep on it, don't forget about it. With all the fancy new stompy stuff going on where white gets the initiative and red has Caves of Chaos Adventurer and whatever. This is still one of the Chalice of the Void decks in the format, and we got to respect all of them. 93, thank you for asking me to play this. Everybody else, thanks for watching. Be sure to like, comment, subscribe. Check out the Patreon in the video description, and I'll see you next time.